Günthers into second place on the final lap. Max Günther finishes in second place. Yes!
Yeah, this win for sure felt amazing. I have to say probably one of the best days still in my life. This first victory in Formula E.
So it was the first wet race of Formula E, so very, very tricky conditions, but you managed to qualify 5th and then finish the race in the same position in P5. Now that race was filled with so many incidents and obviously a massive lack of grip. How was it for you?
Well, definitely Paris season 5 was such a big challenge. You know, we started the race already with the knowledge there could be some rain because it was quite dark in the sky. It was not just a little bit of rain, it was really a lot. And you know, if you're not changing tires in Formula E, that's one of the challenges we have. And like really grip changes every corner, not only every lap. It was like super unpredictable and difficult to just keep the car on the road on this bumpy and tight speed circuit. One tiny mistake could ruin your race entirely, and that's what happened to many guys. Because you know, we all never drove with Formula E cars with such a lot of water. For sure, I enjoyed it, but it was definitely the toughest race I ever drove.
There's a great moment from that race where I think it's Eduardo Mortara was trying to overtake you on the outside on one of the back straights, and he didn't get it right and ended up in the wall.
Well, he's not stopping it, he's in the wall.
You know, it was for me more at the time, like even more of a signal how dangerous it is at this point to make a mistake, because you know this move, it could have worked from Edo around the outside, but then I saw him like in the corner of my eye crashing straight into the wall, and it just reminded you once more that you know every little input you do with your driving, it can easily go wrong, and this was kind of more the emotion we have in such a situation. So yeah, it's, as I said, it's the nice thing about races like this is you cannot plan anything. You just really need to react corner by corner because it's changing so much depending on how much it's raining. And this is what a nice challenge of a race like this is all about.
We have seen 4 seasons in one day, haven't we?
So moving in the same season, a couple of races down the line, you achieved the same result again, P5 quali, P5 in the race in Bern. And I think in what it's fair to say is pretty uncompetitive machinery based on them running an old powertrain and the old Jerks Dragon at the time. What do you remember from that Bern race? Because obviously it had the quite eventful and controversial race restart.
Hang on, Franz is in the wall and facing backwards. And we got a traffic jam.
The race was quite a big challenge. We had this early red flag at the start of the race. My car got damaged quite heavily, I have to say, and for some time it really looked like the race was over before it really started for me. I mean, I saw, you know, the mechanics with tape trying to fix the bodywork, stuff like that in the red flag, and this is not the nicest feeling to have when you go out again for after the red flag for the restart. But yeah, after a few laps I felt like, okay, the car is pretty much fine to drive. There is no big issues with it. It was a good race. You had to keep focused as always until the end because it became even more exciting at one point. But yeah, definitely a race I very much enjoyed and I like looking back.
When you got the call from BMW and they said, you know, we like what you're doing, we want you to come represent us, how did that feel?
It was a very proud moment for sure. I mean, on the one hand, as I said, the goal, which of course was my goal to get into a top team as soon as possible in Formula E. For sure, this dream has come true. That was super nice. But then there was a lot of other emotions that I said as well in the press before. That you know, as a German driver, as a Bavarian driver, to drive for a Bavarian big car manufacturer like BMW, this was quite something, and yeah, for sure, big moment at the time.
Through the final corner to win in Santiago and win in Formula E for the first time, Max Günther.
The youngest driver to ever win in Formula E. How did that win feel for you?
Yeah, this win for sure, it felt amazing. I have to say probably one of the best days still in my life. This first victory in Formula E. And yeah, to become a Formula E race winner on my second week in BMW. It was just such a nice combination. So many things came together and made it emotional for me because you work so hard during all your career getting to this level like Formula E, and then when you get this opportunity to be in a good team and then to be able to win your first race quite soon, this was really special, I have to say.
And then the move to secure the win in Santiago onto Costa. Now that's obviously a driver with a load of Formula E experience. He's now a champion. How did that move play out? Because I remember at the time on the team radio, when you made the move, you were so desperate to your team to make sure it was the final lap.
You're starting the final lap.
Are you sure? Are you sure this is the final lap?
Yes, it is. Let's go get him.
So does that mean that the energy that you used for the overtake was, if it wasn't the final lap, would have caused you a problem?
During this race, I managed a lot of things. I can't go too much into detail, but for me, on the steering wheel, it didn't look as normal. So I just wanted to double check it's really the last lap, because I'm sure the last thing you want is to be in the lead of the race and then to not have the energy to finish it.
And then looking ahead, Marrakech season 6, there's P2 in qualifying, P2 in the race. A great overtake, which we'll get to in a minute. But for me, it's another example of you rising to the occasion and taking on champions. What were your memories of that day? Let's start with Superpole and qualifying and then move on to the race.
I think in group qualifying I was P1, so that was a good start into qualifying. And then I had the chance to be on pole position. My first 2 sectors, they were really good, but then I had a lock up in the second to last corner. My outside front tire locked up. It was hurting a little bit because for sure a pole position is something always nice for a racing driver. But yeah, nevertheless, a very nice race against the cheetahs. At one point they took the lead from Antonio. Then I was starting to fight with Jeff. He overtook me. And then, for quite a few laps towards the end of the race, I was challenging him to get the second position.
I remember at the time watching it as a viewer, it was like edge of your seat because every lap you were getting closer and closer and you were trying to make moves and it wasn't quite coming. But then to make that move on, like I said, the last lap, pretty much almost the last opportunity you could have within the race.
Günthers into second place on the final lap through the final right-hander at turn 12.
Afterwards, it was super, super nice, to make a move like this in the last lap, as you say, on the last opportunity. That was quite nice, full of adrenaline in this last lap. I think we all know, and at this day I experienced quite a lot that Jeff is not an easy guy to overtake. He's very experienced and he knows how to position his car to not get overtaken. For the last lap of the race, there is never a guarantee and always risk to go wrong, but as a racing driver you just have this instinct. So I just felt like after this race that we have everything we need to take on the challenge against these big guys, and that was more the emotion.
First of all, how was the season finale for you? Because that's a super intense end of the season, 6 races in 9 days.
For sure it was tough, but we managed well. That was the overall picture for Berlin, and then I think in the way Berlin went, for sure we were not happy about it. It was not the outcome of these 6 races that we wanted to. For sure there was one highlight, which was my win in I think the 3rd race of the Berlin races. That was a nice race, and even though there were no spectators, it was very nice and emotional for me to win my home race. So that was all for sure a fantastic experience, and I enjoyed this.
Getting that win, it must have felt extra nice considering some of the challenges you'd gone through in previous races.
100%, because I still remember how the first 2 days went, and as well what emotions go through the team. And I remember very well how we, as a team, we reacted on these negative moments. And I was really happy about the mindset we all had going into race 3 and 4 of Berlin. So there is never a guarantee that it's an improvement, but at least I was happy about what we have as an atmosphere inside the team.
I love getting the driver's insight on those moments, because you watch it as a fan and you're like, oh, this is great, this is good, but you know what's going through your head at the time is so cool, I think.
Yeah, no, it is, you know, it's yeah, you know, even for us talking about it, because we don't often get a chance to talk about it like we just did now, to go through your emotions, because I mean, yes, you're a racing driver and you have all your skills, but as well you're just a human being and you have emotions going through your mind. They are very, you know, happening in a quick time, and not too much time to think about them. But afterwards, if you reflect about it, you go through similar emotions, like you know, in daily life. It's kind of yeah, cool to speak about.